asking from them, and what we're going to do, what our commitment is. One of the things we talked about yesterday in our program was this whole idea of the conceptual agreement in terms of what we're making with the client about what our next steps are going to be. Really key piece, being clear about what the next steps are going to be. So let's have a look at this idea of clarity.
Strategic clarity involves having a clear mission, a clear vision, clear values, clear priorities, and clear objectives. King Solomon of Israel said, without vision, people perish. Well, without vision, companies fold, families fight, and teams flounder. But with a clear vision, people come together, they get unified, and they get motivated. Peter Drucker said there's nothing worse than efficiently doing that which should not be done at all. Jim Collins said if you have more than 3 priorities, you don't have any. Warren Buffett, when he was interviewed on national television and asked what's the key to his success, said of every 100 opportunities I have, even every 100 good investment opportunities, I say no at least 99 times. We've got to be absolutely clear about what we ought to be about.
So this whole idea of clarity is a really key piece, and it's certainly affected my ISEL in the last 12 months. Is really been thinking a lot more about how I can become very clear with my client, very clear about the conversation we're having in terms of what we both agree to, what the next steps are. All those things are really important in terms of people buying our message. So when we look at this idea of clarity, there are a couple of pieces. One is 95% of workers who are unaware of their, he's saying that 95% of workers are unaware of their actual top objectives. And this is what happens in business, of course. There's not that strategic clarity, the communication around our objectives. Now, he talks about a 90-day quick plan and difference-making actions. In your notes, you've got, or the little gold commitment sheet. Just up here as we go through it, I'm going to get you to put an action in each of these little boxes. So underneath clarity, what I'm going to get you to think about is 2 things, strategic clarity and communication clarity. So here's the first question for you. When it comes to strategic clarity, where is it that you need to be more strategic in terms of your results right now? And how do you need to make that really clear to the people around you or people in your business, or really clear about the way you set goals? So I'll get you to 60 seconds to put something down. In terms of strategic clarity, where do you need to be very clear about your strategy right now? Is it around how you're going to create X number of leads? Is it about how much more conversion you're going to create? Is it about the brand in terms of how you're going to put it to market? Where is a place that you need to create more strategic clarity? Just pop it down. Again, there are no right or wrong answers to this. It's just a matter of starting the conversation. Strategic clarity. We need to have more strategic clarity. Just private work at the moment, just to put down your own thoughts. Now you've got an idea or 2 down, and again, we're not going to necessarily come up with your whole, business plan of the next 12 months in 3 hours, but I think what we're going to do is just touch on a number of these points and get you thinking. One of the things that David talks about is the idea of the power of a sticky note. And I tell you what, it's so simple, and yet it's so incredibly valuable. So this is what he says. He says that we make these stuff way too complicated. He said by putting down one strategic goal in terms of a sticky note and putting down the 3 to 5 things that you need to do to achieve that goal, it's what he calls difference-making actions. Now, I've attended a lot of training over the years, been to see a lot of speakers over the years, and yet this one idea is something I have followed every month for the last 12 months. It's made exceptional difference to what I do. And I'll tell you why. Because we overcomplicate it. We overcook things. We make things much harder than they need to be. By having a sticky note inside my journal every day when I do my to-do list, everything else, it reminds me of the one strategic goal, the clear one that I need to have, that is the most important to me right now, with the 3 to 5 things that need to happen in terms of difference-making actions to make that goal happen. It's not difficult. This is all simple stuff, and yet we don't do it. I've put some sticky notes on your tables there. Grab a sticky note each, please. Grab a sticky note each. There are some sticky notes there. You'll only need one, by the way. You don't need to worry about having a whole pile, and there's plenty of them there. Here's what I'd like you to do. I'd like you to think in terms of this difference-making action for me for a second. Real simple stuff. Could you please write at the very top of your sticky note what would be a strategic goal you have to get clear about right now? So you wrote something down a minute ago in terms of we need to create strategic clarity. Pick a goal and say, okay, I need to achieve this particular goal. And it could be, as I said before, more customers, more spend, more longevity, more referrals, whatever it is that's sales related. We'll go with sales related this morning. That is a specific strategic goal that you need to get more clear about actually achieving. So there might be something on your mind right now. You say, boy, I wish I was actually doing more of this. I've been making lots of excuses and not doing more of that. You know, it could be as simple as what we talked about yesterday with some of the consultants about the idea of, finishing off that website. That could be one of the strategic things that you need to get very clear about in terms of being a piece that you haven't finished yet. But it could be things like a sales process, some new collateral, whatever it is. So anything related to a strategic outcome that you need to create in sales right now. Just right across the top, what that thing is to achieve this within a certain period of time. Give yourself, say, a 60 to 90 day period of time if you like. Pick that number one thing up. Underneath that, could you please do this for me? Put down 3 to 5 only what we call difference-making actions. Difference-making actions. 1 through 3, 1 through 5 of the things that would need to happen in order for that thing at the very top of the page to happen in your life right now. What would be some of the difference-making actions? So as you're writing those things down, think about this for a second. How often do we just go from one day to the next without actually thinking about what our strategic goal is, what our 80-20 rule is, what the things that would make the biggest difference to us right now are? And with being a trusted advisor is about being 2 steps, 3 steps ahead of your buyer. It's being about thinking in terms of advance of where you want to be from now, 90 days in advance, not just living each day and getting back on the treadmill. And a lot of people in sales, running businesses, very much turn up to work and off they go again. So creating strategic clarity around one area, I've just asked you to do it in 2 minutes, but we should be doing this stuff regularly. And as I said to you, I've been in the business of presenting and everything else for over 20 years. And yet this one idea, I'm sitting in the workshop going, how simple is this? And yet I know that if I actually make that commitment and put down the top 3 to 5 different making actions, and I know that one thing that I put down on my sticky note is the thing that's actually going to contribute to the most results for me right now, it's just freeing. It's amazing how you can just get clarity. Here's question number 2, underneath this idea of clarity. Back onto your gold action plan now for a second. The second piece is communication clarity. When we talk about communication clarity, where do you believe you would need to get clearer in the way that you communicate to clients and prospective clients right now? Communication clarity. So in that goal box, where it is number 1 area clarity in the action plan, just put underneath that where you've got strategic clarity, put down communication clarity, and put down an action beside that, which is a specific action that you would need to take in order to be able to make a much more clearer communication with your clients right now. So right here it says, I would like to work on. Put something in that box. Put something in that box. In terms of where you believe you might overcomplicate the way that you talk to clients currently. We all do it. Give you an example. I put together a brochure a little while back on what I do. I had all my modules in there. I talked about all the different things you get in each module and everything else. And I really forgot to talk to the client about what the specific outcomes were and the model of what I'm trying to teach. So I looked at the brochure and I just picked it up the other day and I went, this is just way too complicated. There is no one someone can buy into this process. Yesterday we spoke about the idea of how you can use verbal diarrhea in terms of our conversation with clients. We over-talk things and talk way too much about what our solution is. When you get into a technical product, it's even worse. Because of course we've got so much to talk about, it gets in a data download and people are going, whoa, back off, I can't take that much. So where do we believe we need to get communication clarity right now with our clients? All right. Okay, time for a debrief. Again at your tables, please. Keep passing the baton along. Give it someone else the job now. What I'd like to do is get feedback on the table. 1, what sort of things did people pick up in terms of what they wrote down their sticky note around strategic clarity? And 2, where do you believe around the table we overcook it, make it more complicated, and need to make the communication clarity more simple with our clients? Off you go. Have a chat.
So in terms of communication clarity, things that I thought about when I think about making things easier for the customer. So obviously, rather than pitching products and details, like packaging specifics, sort of visiting the customer and finding out what they need.
If you walk into Bunny,
rather than going really into the details, say, this is what I think is right.
until just recently, wanting to know you. So if you walked into aisle number 20 and you asked for something that was an aisle 28, when you compare them to the average model, where Bunny has been covered what it costs 20. You wanted to would also knowledge of the product, where the product is heading and going at the last need to be able to
I guess for me, what I do work on is great, more clarity with my personal brand.
I'm just working with that. And that is no trust. That disturbs trust. If I go to Bundy, I'll log in.
So know that
And it works out to me. Not just advertising temporarily. Then we put a person that was interested in me to talk, whether or not it was $1 or $100,000. That's my opinion. Trust and knowledge with the staff needs to be improved to be able to give them the same, not compassion, but the same clarity of where the company should be headed.
On that note, yes, I agree with you. Knowledge is key. At the same time, we need to really understand the customer segment as well as who the customers are. At least away from the old month
they go out going,
I mean, we could
what am I really, what am I actually getting, or what, this, rather than having a recommendation.
Customize that knowledge. Like now, in our world, content is key. Anyone can write content if there's no relevance. What's the point of writing content? There should be some relevance attached to that content.
What you're saying is you need to know
If I said to you, do that work, that will work after
do something. Try something else. John Jones comes in and says, what do I do with this? And then gets a demonstration by the person that was there as a sales force and feels that he has been paid attention. That trust then coming out and the guarantees. There's knowing your
It's a pretty good because ultimately, and that's what in my consulting, anyone who's a customer, but then only you can really communicate well. If you know you're extremely clear,
I had a sale without that, the last thing was saying, oh, really, you're doing that as well? I mean, rather than saying, it's fine, that way, yeah, but it's more than that. That gives you the okay, well, you're not saying up to moving to the moon, but I mean, in your own sphere, you need to know what's on there. So many comes in and we talk about the website. We talk about strategic things. Hundreds of when we really sit down and handful, you can actually produce something that they spend time and research on technology. That's going to be different. If you ask me every time, he goes on where the aviation industry get them talking to them. You just supposed to ask them if someone with them, what does that actually mean?